Welcome back to Bands and Beers, the podcast where we crack open a beer and sit down with musicians doing cool stuff. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Kyle.
Today we're hanging out with Olive Riggio and we're trying two beers from Antigua Cerveza in Guatemala. We're trying Cucarucho and Sin Novia, two beers from the brewery, and we'll get into a little bit about the brewery and why we are trying these specific beers today. New year, new pod, shaking it up for you a little bit. We have a new segment called Beer History, which will be temporarily replacing beer news. For the next few episodes, we'll dive into some cool history facts for all of you nerds out there. Kyle, take it away.
All right, here's a quick beer history fact. Beer is older than written language and may have helped create it. The earliest chemical evidence of beer dates back over 5,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia. But what's wild is that some of the earliest known writing, Sumerian tablets, include detailed records of beer production and distribution. There's even a Sumerian hymn from around 1800 BCE dedicated to the Ninkasi, the goddess of beer. And that's not just a song, it doubles as a brewing recipe. A lot of historians believe that beer wasn't just a drink, it was part of early economic systems. Workers were paid in beer, temples distributed beer, trade records documented beer rations, and some scholars argue that one of the reasons writing even developed was to track agricultural goods, including grain used for brewing, which basically means beer may have played a role in building civilization. Not bad for something we're casually cracking open on a podcast, huh?
That's a wild beer fact, Kyle. I would like to be paid in beer. I would accept that.
I would accept that
as a salary.
Right now. I mean, I kind of am.
I love it. Today's brewery takes us out of the New Jersey area and all the way to Antigua, Guatemala, home of the brewery called Cerveza, which Kyle's girlfriend went and got this beer for us. She went there to hike. Kyle, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yeah. She was there to hike a volcano. I mean, how about that? They camped out overnight after a long day's hike, listening to the exploding sounds that they said sounded like bombs going off. Her and her girlfriends sleeping not, 1 kilometer away from an active volcano.
That is incredible. Sam is very brave.
Very brave.
For doing that. And I'm really happy that she brought us back these beers to try. So, founded in 2012, Antigua Cerveza is considered one of the pioneers of Guatemala's craft beer scene. Their philosophy is simple. It's rooted in their local culture. They focus on balance, drinkability, and styles that actually make sense for where they're brewed. They're not trend chasing or over engineering. Their beer names, branding, and styles pull directly from Guatemalan culture, humor, and traditions. They're not trying to be like an American or European brewery. They're proudly local, and they just have a craft mindset. It's the kind of brewery where you can taste the environment, the heat, the altitude, the history and community. And the fact that these beers traveled from Guatemala to New Jersey in a suitcase, honestly, feels perfect.
Yeah, for real. I remember doing something similar when I went to Belgium, bringing some beers back in the suitcase for us to try casually. I don't think they made it on the podcast, but that's okay.
I'm sure someone enjoyed them.
Very, very considerate of her to bring them all this way after such a cool journey.
Yeah. You got to bring beers back with you after you travel. That's something that I've been doing ever since we started the podcast is when I go to a brewery, I always take some beers home with me.
And share them with friends.
Absolutely. So we got two beers from this brewery. So we're going to try two different ones, which is cool. We don't usually try two different beers from a brewery. We usually taste the same one. So we're mixing it up for you guys a little bit today. So this beer that I have is called Cucarucho, and it means a cone made of paper or other material. It's used to contain candy or other small items. I would guess like a lot of street food maybe is in that when you get it over in Guatemala. This is a stout. It's an 8% ABV and around 60 IBU. It's the heavier hitter of the two of these. And we'll get into it in a little bit. Kyle, this is Sin Novia that you have. and that means without a girlfriend. And it's good, what you're going to be if you don't get your act together.
That's right.
So,
That's what they keep telling me.
so yours is an IPA. It's a 6.5 ABV and a 55 IBU. It's hop forward but balanced, citrus and pine notes, backed by caramel malt. Mine is going to be rich, roasty, and full-bodied. You're going to get the coffee and dark chocolate notes. Let's check them out.
Let's.
I think it's going to be really cool to try a stout from Guatemala. Because when I think of stouts, I usually think of them being made in, Ireland or England. Your pour is better than mine today.
Well, I mean, it's always tough with a stout.
Yeah.
Quite a bit ahead on that.
You want to go first?
Yes, piney, hoppy, and not too bitter. I am very surprised by how not bitter this is. This is delicious. I can't believe how you can get that. And you know what I think it is? You mentioned a subtle maple, I believe, that's worked into this. I think that's balancing out some of that.
Yeah, it says caramel malt base.
That was it,
So
caramel.
you're getting a little sweetness at the end of it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So not as bitter, but that piney, really refreshing IPA hoppy flavor is still there without being crazy bitter. Listen, I know people like bitter.
Yeah.
For me, I have a limit. This is perfect.
Nice. I'm really happy.
Very,
that
very
you're enjoying
crushable
it.
for sure.
This is awesome. This is actually one of the best stouts I've ever had.
Wow.
So Guatemala is doing the stout right, in my opinion. It's really refreshing and crisp, really drinkable. I say that about a lot of beers that we have on here, but sometimes I'm lying. So this is actually really, really drinkable. And it's not sometimes you drink a stout, it's so heavy, and you're like, I don't really want to finish this.
Yeah.
But
It's like a whole meal.
it's syrupy almost sometimes. This is super, super light.
Light, okay.
Yeah, it's really light. And the carbonation level of this is nice too.
Mm.
It's just really balanced in the carbonation, and it's not overwhelming. As a stout, sometimes the carbonation can be a little heavy, especially the nitro stouts. But this one is perfectly balanced. So yeah, maybe one day I will go to Guatemala and I'll climb the same volcano that Sam did.
You are a big fan of hiking. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, and that seems like a psychotic enough hike for me to do on an active volcano.
You might not know this about Nikki, but she is a psychotic hiking person. And I will say that there was a second sunrise hike, a part of this adventure that they were on, where after camping overnight, listening to the volcano exploding all night long and not getting any sleep because of how loud it is, they offer the opportunity to do a sunrise hike, which is another 4 hours even closer to the active volcano.
Wow.
That her and her friends were just too tired to do. And I picture you doing that and coming back and being like, I did it against all odds.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race when it comes to hiking, I would say, and drinking your beer.
Yeah.
That's how you enjoy it, is going slow and steady. You apply that principle to a lot of things in your life, and you will enjoy it.
Couldn't agree more.
Some words of wisdom with our beer review today. All right, coming up is our musical guest, Olive Riggio. We're going to interview her about her New Jersey roots and what it's like being in Brooklyn as a trader since she left New Jersey. Everyone stay tuned. It's going to be a good one.
All right, welcome back. And we're here with the one, the only Olive Riggio, a.k.a. Olivia.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. Cheers.
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 Happy to have you.
We are happy to have you.
So happy to be here.
Olivia is a longtime friend of us here on the podcast. We're really excited to showcase her to the viewers so you can all get to know a little bit about her. So why don't you start by telling us about who you are and what music has done to shape your life. I know it's been a big part of your life for a very, very long time. So just sort of walk us through your journey.
Wow. Okay. So I feel like music has always been a part of my life. I grew up with music around the house. My dad's a musician too. he used to play around in the city when he was younger. And so it was kind of just this thing that was always around, but that I didn't take seriously until I was a bit older, which admittedly is a regret. But my dad started teaching me guitar when I was in like 4th grade. I wasn't I wasn't a great student at that point. And I kind of just didn't pay much attention to it until I was in 8th grade, and my friends and I got into music on our own accord. And so that's kind of when I started really playing and wanting to play shows and stuff. I then went to high school where Kyle was also. We went to the same high school.
That's right.
And our high school was cool. We had coffee houses, which were pretty much like open mic night vibes, and that was monthly. And then every year on Earth Day, if you were in a band, you could get out of school like the whole day and play during the lunch periods. Well, you would only have to play like one set, but you'd get out of school the whole day and just hang out outside. And Kyle was in charge of organizing Earth Day. He was a senior when I was a freshman. And I think that's when, and we became friends, and that's when I started, wanting to regularly play. And then that turned into writing my own songs. And then Kyle was in my band. Mm-hmm. I started a band in college. I went to Ithaca, but I would play around with our band when I was back in New Jersey. And that was so much fun. We were called Olive in the Pits. And that was, I started playing at your house.
For sure, yeah.
Kyle had a venue. We've already discussed this on the podcast.
But if you haven't heard the episode.
The Shame Shack.
The Shame Shack, yes.
And that was, I think, like the first place I played outside of school, really. And that was my intro to the scene. And
not a whole lot of places to play in that area. So.
No, but that's kind of what made it great, was that everyone was there. And so I think writing songs and performing them has, like, it's a huge part of my identity, I think, even though it's not something I'm able to do full time. And it really helped me like discover myself, and I enjoy how it's like changed as I've grown up. It's like the songs have some of the same themes, which is like, is that really encouraging? I wrote this song when I was like 17, and now I'm writing the same thing at 29. But I think that it has really been like a huge part of me, like discovering myself, like working through things, and doing that in the community of a music scene with friends has been really amazing.
Yeah, when you talked about the Earth Day performance, my high school did the same thing. I wonder if that's like a North Jersey thing. Every Earth Day, I would be hyped, because they would have like all of the bands in town would perform. And so like I wasn't in like a formal band in high school. I would have like these kids that I would like get together with and do like talent shows and different things in the town. And we would get together for like the talent show, Spirit Week, and Earth Day. And we would like do like little medleys and cover stuff.
Yeah.
And Earth Day, I used to always be so hyped for it because it usually was like nice out and we would play outside.
It was so.
Did you guys ever play outside?
We would play outside all the time.
It was so fun. It's really nice, like when you grow up in, I don't know, I guess like Kinnelon and Oakland were both sort of artsy towns, like in that they supported the arts in the high schools.
Yes, for sure. I think our high school really did. And it was like, as a freshman too, seeing the older kids doing it, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I want to do this. And I thought everyone was so cool. I thought Kyle was, at the time he had like long flippy hair. I thought he was actually like totally Kyle for the Amanda show.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
I remember you like doing a demonstration to everyone on how to properly sing into a mic. And you were like, Kyle, you don't want to be here. That's too loud. But you don't want to be back here. And I was like, this guy's cool.
Kyle has been educating us for her whole life. This is
On
basically
how to use gear, pretty much. Like anything that has
Yeah.
electricity running through it.
Yeah, I am quite the gearhead.
Yeah, you
What
were
can I
born to
say?
do what you do, basically, Kyle.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like
So-
I found my calling.
So you grew up around music because your dad played.
Yeah.
What kind of music did your parents have playing growing up? And how does it
Definitely-
influence you?
It's definitely
today?
different than what I ended up writing. My dad is a huge Deadhead. So we almost exclusively would listen to the Grateful Dead. But other artists from that era. And my mom was into a lot of folkier stuff. I remember she would play the Indigo Girls a lot when I was little, and I loved them. I would be singing their songs, and I think that was the first concert I went to as well. They took us to see the Indigo Girls
Where did you see them?
in Central Park.
Nice.
And I have a vague memory of like twirling around. I just loved the harmonies. So I would say that kind of music, the folky side of stuff, definitely influenced what I write. But I think that as I got older and developed my own music taste, I was really into pop punk as like a tween and teen. Paramore, I was obsessed with Paramore, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco. And then when I got involved, then it kind of softened after that and I got more into folky stuff. But once I got more involved in the New Jersey music scene at the time, and I think still now, is very emo heavy. And I loved that so much. And I always wished that I was playing in one of like the harder bands. And so what I do now when I'm writing songs is like they start out soft and folky, and then at the end they always need to have like distorted guitars and like crazy drums. And I've heard people be like, your music reminds me of pop punk, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, thank you.
A whole life just to get there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't jam. I wish I could play more like my dad plays.
The jammy stuff?
The jammy stuff.
Dad rock for sure.
I just like shut down anytime a improvisational moment is coming. I forget everything.
Well, I think like there's just different types of musicians, and I think what's nice is about being in a band setting a lot of times is that you have so much variety. Like one musician might be a jammy person, one might be more likes to write more formally, one might be really technical. And when you play with other musicians, it creates this like well-rounded, holistic experience where you can create in different ways. So I think sometimes like that's just how it rolls. I know I've been in bands where certain people are really technical and other people are just kind of vibey, and that's when you can create really cool things, I think.
Yeah, collaboration is huge. And I feel like I say things a lot of times. Like right now I'm performing like solo because my band was kind of been in flux. But like different producers I've worked with, I'm always like, oh, like I really genuinely could not have done it without them. And a lot of times I'll say that to my friends and they're like, no, like you're really talented. Like you shouldn't play down your own talents. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is I literally could not have done it without this person because they have abilities that I don't. And I'm sure I have abilities that they don't, but that's like the beauty of collaboration is like you can create something together that you couldn't create on your own. And that's something I want to lean into more because like I said, I'm very solo right now. So if anyone wants to join a band.
You said teachers and stuff. Like what kind of training did you have, or was it just like courses in high school?
When I was a teenager, I took vocal lessons. So I would consider my voice to be my primary instrument. I kind of am like, I've taken guitar lessons here and there. I've learned things from people. And as an adult, I've taken a few guitar lessons as well to just make sure I keep getting better. But I don't have any formal guitar training. And that was another way that I think my dad kind of influenced the way I approach music. I think he must have had guitar lessons as a kid, but he kind of was like, you just need 4 chords to play rock and roll. Like he wanted it to be fun for me. And that's the thing. I do approach music as an outlet and as something fully creative that I do. So the sacrifice for that is like a lack of formal knowledge when it comes to an instrument. But I did take voice lessons when I was younger. I'll take a few now every now and then if I'm like running into something. And that really helps. There's, it helps you keep your voice healthy. It helps you kind of troubleshoot if you're like, why can't I hit this note, or why don't I like the way that this sounds? Knowing what you can do, how you can kind of pronounce words differently when you're singing to make them sound clearer or more on pitch. Stuff like that is stuff I use all the time. And it helps you connect with your body too and learn to love the instrument that you're given, because you don't get to pick your voice. And so
Yeah, it's so true.
sometimes I wish I could, but I think I've had teachers who were really encouraging and are like, I'd be like, oh, some people don't like my voice because it's too this or that. And it's like, well, that's your voice. So
Yeah.
there's going to be people who do like it too.
Yeah, those are some really cool insights. And you both are vocalists. And I give you so much credit because I've never, like, I sang backup a little bit in a band I was in college, but it is really so much pressure to have your instrument be something that's really sensitive, right? Like if you're sick, or like if like you just feel weird
You
one
ate
day.
like a piece of pizza
Yeah,
before.
like even just like having some dairy before.
I can't drink beer before a set because I'll start burping. And if I don't want to burp, like then I will.
Yeah, it's like
I can go a whole day without burping, and then as soon as I'm singing, I'm like,
It's a lot of pressure.
It's
Yeah.
really vulnerable to have your instrument
vulnerable.
be part of your body.
Yeah.
And it's like if your voice isn't someone's cup of tea, it's like, I'm sorry, like my organ that's inside that I was born with is like not appealing to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel the same way too?
Well, I mean, I like what you said about it's just something you're given, and it's going to sound the way it sounds. I often, and I know plenty of other vocalists who often struggle with the sound and tone of their own voice, and they're like, I wish it was different. I wish it, blah, blah, blah. I've definitely had that feeling before. And it's about embracing it. I think it's a really important thing to just stop and be like, you know what? I'm going to do the best with what I have. That's the only reason I was making music, for as long as I have been. Putting out, singing in front of people. It's hard for me sometimes because I'm not super confident in the way my voice sounds, but it has a certain style and it lends itself to the genres that I enjoy. So it just sort of works out, and I'm lucky. If I was trying to be a pop star and that was my favorite type of music, that would not work out.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I think what was a huge unlock for me was discovering music that, artists that sounded similar to me, or like sounded at least like attainable. And that just like helped my confidence so much. I mean, we have to talk about Laura Stevenson if we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, we want to know about your influences.
Well, okay,
Big
so
influence.
Kyle actually introduced me to Laura Stevenson when I was in high school, because he was like, you sound kind of like Laura Stevenson. That was generous. But she's an incredible singer-songwriter from Long Island and upstate or Hudson Valley based now. And the way that she wrote, I was like, I want to do this. The first time I heard her music, I was like, I could, learn to sing like this. I could learn to write like this. And that kind of unlocked like the whole world of indie singer-songwriters who kind of come from a punk scene, which I love as well.
What were like some things that resonated with you when you first heard her?
This was the 2010s, so like the very like twee kind of sounding aesthetic was really appealing to me. And I think the tone of her voice was, more of a soprano, like higher pitched tone. And I had that at the time. I've been trying to like connect with my womanly voice more now. But when I was younger, I was like a choir girl, but I wanted to sing rock music,
For sure.
So to hear someone who had like, a beautiful, strong, clear voice, but who was singing, folk rock music, and even sometimes, going into like pop rock and stuff like that. It was, I was just in love with it, and the lyrics too, like very poetic, almost cryptic lyrics, but that felt very real. I really, really love lyricists who can write something that feels so specific that you're like, how does this person know what's going on in my head? They put something in such a way that is like, so niche yet so universal. And I really, really liked that. It made me want to start playing around with the imagery I used and kind of like toe the line between being, kind of very open and raw and confessional in my lyrics, but also always making sure they're kind of behind this veil of like magical realism so that you don't quite know what I'm saying, which might be like a defense mechanism so that people don't know exactly what's going on. But yeah, there was just so much that appealed to me, and a lot of indie singer-songwriter women. I think also it was like, I grew up with my dad being the primary musician in my life. At the time, even in high school, like a lot of boys were playing music. This is so different now, which is amazing. There's so many girls playing all different instruments, playing all different genres of music. But at that time, I think it was still like a lot of dudes playing emo music, which I love.
Yeah.
Which I love. But
we talk about too, like,
yeah, being able to see yourself. And then I was really, really into Paramore when I was younger. I wish I could sing like Hayley Williams. I don't have like a tenth of the like power that woman has. And so I think like being able to see, women who were, I guess, doing their own thing. It wasn't like this hard rocky thing, but it also wasn't like, super soft. It was somewhere in the middle, and being able to see that kind of was a huge unlock for me. It was like, oh, I can be like a female singer-songwriter without being like a heavy like pop punk girl, which again, love it, awesome.
Yeah.
I was not born with that ability. So I think like the more you can see yourself doing a thing, the more you see other people who are similar to you doing a thing, the more you can see yourself doing it.
I can relate to a lot of what you're describing. I think that we talk about too, when we talk about when we used to play at Kyle's venue that he was running.
You were the only other girl.
There really weren't a lot of other girls there. It was just like you and I and Melissa Shuri. I think maybe that was even
Melissa was later. Melissa is awesome. Shout out to Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa.
I didn't meet Melissa till a few years ago though.
So it was just you and I, really, for the most part. But I think so. I can relate to that, and I could also relate to feeling like you're trying to fit into like a genre because like it was like male dominated and it was like a lot of hard stuff. I felt weird like being a keyboard player that was in a band where like they're headbanging. Like I kind of was like, I want to play
so
pop
badass
music.
though. Yeah.
So but I like wanted to play more poppy stuff, but at the time like the scene wasn't really like fit for that because local DIY scene is more, I think, or was at least. I think it's probably different now.
I think it is different now.
They're doing pop music and people are using backing tracks more.
There's a lot of like diversity now, and at the time I think, and we were also like, I feel like you really, Kyle, I feel like you kind of built that scene.
Yeah, you did.
Like,
thank God.
And so it
Small
started
little pocket, but
and it started with like what you were interested in and what everyone was interested in at the time. And I was interested in it too, but I think that's a good point as well. I feel like I never wanted to admit like inadequacy. I never wanted to say like, oh, I don't know how this pedal works, or I don't know this technical thing. I felt like I always wanted to pretend that I knew everything, because a lot of the guys at the time were really in their gearheads, and they were like, very and very talented, but I didn't want to be around them admitting that I didn't know something.
Yeah.
And I think it was nothing that they like imposed on me, because everyone was really encouraging. But I think that encouragement, being valued for what I can do, was like also something that allowed me to now as an adult, like, I don't give a shit. Like, if I don't know how to do something, I'll just say I don't know it. But I can write songs really well and people like them. So, like, that's what I bring to the table. And, like, realizing you don't have to be perfect or you don't have to be like this, you know, jack of all trades. You can kind of just be what you are and you can be valued for that. And I think that's something that is an attitude that is more prominent now. But I think at the time, like, I wanted to be like, yeah, like, I can, like, noodle around and, like, go tappy tap and, like...
Yeah, everyone was doing the taps for sure.
I wish I could do the taps. Like,
Yeah.
I feel now it's like you give less of a fuck. Like, you're just like, here's what I can do. And if there's something I can't do, like, come do it with me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that attitude.
So you mentioned Ithaca, going to college. Tell us what you studied and what the music scene was like when you got there and how that felt. Any similar or different from back home?
Yeah, I went to Ithaca College. I studied journalism.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
You can write.
I like to write. The music scene there was really cool. On campus, it was interesting because Ithaca has a really good music school. I didn't study music, but there were a lot of like really, really intimidatingly talented people there. So it was interesting because there were the music students and a lot of them were very classically trained. But there were a few really good bands. And
Can I just say that coming from the same town and same music scene, I feel like a lot of people experience that. You go off to college and it's just such a wider pool.
yes.
And there's so much talent that you were like, whoa, like it
Yeah.
was very overwhelming.
It was really
guys.
overwhelming too because that was kind of when I first started. I mean, freshman year of college was when I texted you one day and I was like, "You want to start a band?" So it was when I was really like, "Okay, let's go. Let me create music now. I was writing songs all the time alone in my dorm room. And my world expanded and there was so much to write about. I mean, I was at a liberal arts school, so it's expanded relative to Oakland, New Jersey. But
Yeah.
I think that there was me writing songs, and I had a group of friends who were really, really encouraging, and encouraged me to continue doing it. And so, like, when I was around certain groups of people, I'd feel like really cool, like a rock star. And then it's like you would go to parties and the music students would be playing, and I'd be like, hey, that was a really, really sick set. Like, but then later in college, I, became friends with some of them and started making music with them. And some of them, live in Brooklyn now and are still my friends, and I'm working with them. And people who are truly, truly like deeply talented are not pretentious at all. And aren't trying to show off, like, I know this technical thing. They're, just interested in the art of it all. And that's something I learned at Ithaca. The music scene also in town was incredible. They had an organization called Ithaca Underground, and they would bring a lot of indie artists through to local venues. And I had experiences where I got to I saw Big Thief, and I met Adrian Lenker.
No way.
Yeah, I was there. I hadn't previously known them, and then I saw their set, and they were just at the merch table after. So I went up to her, and I was like, "That was awesome! Like, I really loved your set. I'm gonna start listening to you guys now." I shook her hand. She was like, "I'm Adrian," and I was like, "Hi, I'm Olivia." And now she's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, they're so good.
And I saw Speedy Ortiz, Sadie from Speedy Ortiz. I bought a shirt and she wrote on the back of it because I was like, "Can you sign my shirt?" I wasn't afraid to be a fangirl back then. I saw Jeff Rosenstock and crowd surfed at his concert.
Kyle loves Jeff.
We love
Big
Jeff.
time.
And that was like the best No, well, the best day of my life was when we opened for Jeff, but that's a story that comes later.
You opened for Jeff? I didn't even know you guys did that.
That's
Yeah.
actually more important than me crowd surfing at a Jeff Rosenstock show at Ithaca College. So anyway, Ithaca brought in a lot of great artists that I got to see like earlier on, and it was amazing to have access to that. Moving on to when we opened up for Jeff Rosenstock.
Concluding the thought about Ithaca.
That was
So-
Penn State.
At Penn State, yeah.
Oh,
So
so
Kyle and I were in Olive in the Pits, and our friend Ross was our bassist, and he went to Penn State. And
Shout out to Ross.
he was like, Jeff's coming through. It was, I guess, some group that...
his whatever he was a part of was actually
Booking.
throwing and booking this event. And
So it
he
was
had
an
a
inside
budget,
job, and we were like...
it was an inside job for sure. Ross totally
he
intentionally
pulled the
got
strings.
Jeff Rosenstock and us on the same bill. That never would have happened otherwise.
No, but like, I'm still riding that high, and I think that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was-
That's awesome.
We
I
opened
didn't
up for
know you
him at like some hookah bar.
A hookah
and-
bar?
Was it?
I think it was
So
maybe a
niche.
record store or something, like a bookstore.
But there was hookah
A hybrid
there.
record
Was it?
shop hookah bar?
I have no idea.
I think it was a hookah bar.
Okay, I believe it.
But it was like before COVID, so everyone liked hookah. Hookah
All I
had a
remember
moment.
from that night is
After COVID, people were like, I
Your
can't
car
be
got
smoking
towed.
my car got towed.
that. No.
But-
That's
why?
all I
No.
remember.
And, okay,
happened?
what I remember
I mean, I
is
remember
we were
stuff,
playing
but-
and things were going well. And they came out of the green room and were watching us.
Mhm.
And then we finished our set and then they went on. And then Jeff was like, shout out to Olive in the Pits. And I was like, I can die now, happy. Like it was,
That is the high you are
And then
riding.
that is the
Kyle's car
high.
got towed.
And then so then we were all really,
Yeah, show ended, and then I went to go put something in my car, and it was gone. And so while
and
everyone
then
else
we
was
all
hanging out,
we were all
taking
hanging out with Jeff
photos,
and the band. We were
I'm, like,
taking,
chasing down my car.
I still have a group photo of all of us, like everyone who played that show
except me.
with Jeff's band and Kyle's dealing with, and I was probably so unhelpful. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's totally fine.
But that was really cool. It's cool when you get to
Yeah, the people
play
that
with
inspire you.
the people that inspire you. And like, I think the way that they were involved in the Long Island music scene, you know, in Bomb the Music Industry's heyday was it kind of inspired us with like our music scene.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like the DIY aesthetic, like
In Long Island? Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
inclusivity of it all. Like I think it was kind of, they were, you know,
They
kind
were
of the generation
exclusively
before
doing
us.
all ages shows.
All
no
ages
matter what, trying to
shows.
be inclusive.
Yeah.
They didn't like make things expensive. They would just like spray paint on your shirt if you wanted merch. Things like that. That DIY aesthetic. I wish we could kind of go back to that, honestly.
I think it's starting up again. It's definitely less now. One thing that we were talking about the other day is Boon Tunes.
Oh, I loved Boon Tunes.
Certain listeners will know. There was a venue in Boonton, New Jersey that it was just like on the main street in Boonton. I don't know what it was before it was a venue, but it was like a
Record store, I
very
think.
The
Record
empty
store?
vessel.
yeah, just a vessel. It was a very like long, like you walk in and it's just basically like a long room. It is not something that you would like go into and say, yep, this is the perfect
Like
type
punk
of
venue.
place
Yeah.
for a venue, because it's just like this skinny room.
Yep.
And this guy, Justin DeRico, who I haven't spoken to in a long time. Mr.
Shout out.
Justin, wherever you are. He leased the place and he converted it into a DIY scene. And all of our bands played there
Yeah.
a
and
lot.
Multiple times.
I really
Yeah.
liked it there too because it was all ages. It was like no alcohol allowed, but like not.
And there was none.
And there was definitely none, Justin. We
Yes.
never.
For sure.
But I think what I appreciated about that place too is like you could bring it was palatable. Like you could bring your parents.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like
could.
I really
it was clean.
couldn't
Unlike
bring
the
my
meat locker.
Yeah, like you
the meat locker.
Okay, shout out though to Ross's mom.
Ross's mom.
Wonderful lady. She was at the meat locker one time seeing
What?
his other band. And I remember like shielding her from a mosh pit. It was incredible. Like that is what I want to be
like, "No, Mrs.
if I'm a
Greenberg."
mother. Like
Exactly.
yeah. Well, she's not a very large woman, and like there were just these people thrashing around in this tiny space. And
Yeah, mom in a
it was so cool though.
thrashing basement. That's a rough.
So like I don't know like if my parents would love the meat locker.
Yeah.
I think they would like.
Wait. We should do a poll on this.
Yeah.
when we
Would my
post it.
parents?
Would your parents?
Yeah.
Would specifically
Vote
my
below.
parents or would anyone's?
Vote separately. Would
Anyone.
Olivia's parents or your parents?
I think
go
my
to the meat
parents
locker?
could hang. I think my parents could hang, but like they would feel skeeved out after.
Mine would like
Yours would like
directly go to church.
I think their souls would like
Leave their
their
bodies.
bodies fully.
Yes.
Kyle's, I think yours would be like, this is fun.
My dad would be like laughing in the corner.
My mom would be like, can I buy you guys a beer? And then she would
Yeah.
go home and be like, oh.
She'd be like, I'm showering right now.
Yeah. Like, my dad would be like, there's nowhere to sit down. Except for this couch with piss on it. He doesn't sound like that, but
Yeah, the meat locker is not as palatable as
Boon Tunes was like clean.
Yeah, because Justin was like
It was
so
above
organized.
ground.
Yeah, and he had like the lights.
It was lights. It was like, you know,
the vibes.
there was
man.
not like disgusting things written in graffiti on the walls. Like,
No.
You also had to go through the stage to get to the bathroom, so that was always.
That was kind of tough.
That was
because you had to
awkward.
awkwardly like if you really had to go during a set, you would just like pop back there. But
yeah,
you'd
and you'd
kinda,
be
like,
like,
walk
I just
past the people
pooped
playing
and
music.
everyone-
Yeah.
that's where I found Justin had a lot of books in there, and that's where I found the book Be Here Now,
I just finished
which
that
kind
book.
of that book like kind of changed my life. Shout out to Justin. It's about like mindfulness.
Not shout out to Ram Dass. Shout out to
not,
Justin.
not the author.
Go rope Be Here Now. And Ram
Thank
Dass,
you
thanks, I
for
guess.
writing Be Here Now, Justin Dorico.
Oh man, I miss that place, man. We used to practice there.
That's awesome.
TCK, we used to rehearse there every week. And there's a sandwich shop across the street, Don's. There's a lot of good food in Boonton.
And then they also sold drums, no?
Yeah, they are like drum lessons. The guy,
Oh, cool.
That's an interesting business in Boonton. It's a husband and wife who, I don't know how long they've had that business, probably decades. It's a deli, but the husband who runs the shop, he makes sandwiches and he also gives drum lessons.
That's a dream.
What a combo!
I
drum
would
kit in
love to
What
do
a
window.
combo!
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
love
like
that place.
two favorite things, sandwiches and music.
For
Like,
real.
Yeah. And then there's Boonton Coffee.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of reminiscing. What kind of venues are you playing at now? What is that experience like? You've been getting into the Brooklyn and I guess Manhattan music scene.
Yeah, I've lived in Brooklyn since 2020. I made the very wise decision of moving there during COVID.
Brave.
Rent was cheap. No one was there. It kind of rocked. I mean, am I gonna get canceled for that?
Is the rent.
Is the rent was
specifically.
low.
Yeah.
But right now, I have been playing in, a lot of those Lower East Side venues, which is really cool because a lot of them are like historic and have been there a while and have really been staples for a while. And I've also been playing just at like smaller, because I've been playing solo lately, smaller places in Brooklyn. My roommate, whose name is also Nikki, shout out to Nikki Kramer. Making
Love
too many shout outs today. Sorry.
We just love
you guys.
everybody.
We just love everyone. But she hosts poetry and music events a lot of times at local coffee shops or bars. And so I've been playing at some of those. I haven't been playing live too much recently because I'm working on recording. And because I don't do music full time, it's difficult for me to focus on one music project, more than one music project. So if I'm working on writing, like that's kind of going to be where most of my attention is. Now I'm working on recording, so I'm not really writing as much and I'm not playing out as much. I wish I could do like all three at once, writing, recording, and playing live, but that's, it's hard for me right now. And it can be difficult to draw a crowd. I think that's the biggest thing in New York that has kind of given me pause. And I was thinking about this before because I was like, I don't think there's less community in the scene. I think the community is among artists though. Like the artists are, there's so much talent in New York City and people are really willing to support each other. And it can be great for networking because you can play a show with someone whose music you're like, I want to bump this every day. But at the same time, it's harder to get people to come out to shows because you're in the greatest city in the world and you're competing with a lot of things. So you're competing with
there's events
the
going on
million
everywhere.
other things going
Yeah.
on. And so it's really hard to get people to come out. And that was kind of something that I'm still working on not getting discouraged by. But I think something about, local scenes in the suburbs is, for better or worse, like there isn't as much going on. And
That's a
so
really good
you
point.
have people who come out to shows regularly because that's the thing to do on a Friday night. And I think that that's different. And there's pros and cons to both. Like, I think it is a great experience to play in New York City. Like I said, there's so many historic venues that a lot of great artists have passed through. And it's great for networking. But at the same time, like, you can pretty much be playing to an empty room of like your best friends and your parents. And I think that I want us to like get back to a place where people do that because that's the fun thing to do. It can also be expensive in the city. Like tickets are a lot, even for like local shows, and you want the artists to get paid, but a lot of times it's a different organization or company booking the show and they take a cut. And I think what's fun about the local scene here, and I'm sure in other suburban areas, is like people aren't really doing it for the money. There's less of like a hustle culture, and it's more of like, this is our outlet, this is our social thing we do, and this is like it's like the show is happening and people are going to show up. And I think that that's the biggest difference, but there's definitely a lot to be gained from both. And the great thing about New Jersey is you are so close to so many things. You can pop over to Philly.
Oh, Philly.
We love Philadelphia.
Yeah. I love Philly. That, like, when I used to play in Philly in college, it was my favorite. We used to play like around Drexel and a lot of house shows over there. And Philly has a really cool DIY scene.
They have
I
a
would
cool
say.
DIY scene.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a big fan.
I've never
Pro Philly
played in
podcast.
Philly.
Yeah.
If anyone
We love
in Philly
Philly.
wants to book me,
Book her.
I love
Philly.
Philadelphia. Everything about that city is so cool. I love New York. Like, but Philadelphia, I think, is the only other city that like it's coming for New York, I think.
Yeah, it's because when I used to play Philly, it almost it reminded me of like playing Rutgers a little bit, but if Rutgers was like in a tiny Brooklyn,
Yeah.
kind
yeah.
of like that, where it's like it's like state school feel, but also has like a little city vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the best gigs.
Playing in New
Alex, you
Brunswick
play
was cool.
in Philly with
Only a couple times, but always a good experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play in Philly.
Have you never played at all in Philly?
No, I really, really
Shocked.
like have only played like where I lived, aside from like the state college show. But that was where Ross lived.
In Brunswick?
I played in New Brunswick, but I consider that like it was like an hour drive from North Jersey. And then I lived in New Brunswick for about a year. But it was like the DIY scene was having a lull at that time because cops started busting the college parties.
Oh man.
So everyone told me how great the scene was in New Brunswick. And then I got my first job out of college was based in New Brunswick. And I was like, yeah, I can move there. I have no friends there, but I'll make them because there's a cool DIY scene. We used to play at the Scarlet Pub. That was a cool place.
I remember that place.
Yeah, that was a cool place. But I didn't play, I think I played one or two house shows that like, I think I opened for Spitshine. But it was kind of dying down, but it's coming back now, right?
Yeah, that's what
I'm disconnected from
That's
that.
what they're
I've-
saying.
I've aged out.
Leave a comment.
Yes.
The New Brunswick scene, yes or no? Yeah, is it appropriate to play like college shows at our age?
I would feel weird.
I've aged out for sure.
For that. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, college shows are the best.
And you know what? And they exist for those age group artists as well. They're not well, like once you turn like once you're like nearing 30, it's like those kind of shows aren't really for you to expose your music anymore. It's like this is a focus for, and it's similar to what we did
That's a good point,
at
yeah.
the Shame Shack. It's like it's us and our friends and who are young, no one cares. We're just playing for each other and our friends because like we're trying to start a thing, figure out how to do it, encourage one another. That's kind of what college scenes are for.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, like what are you doing being 30 something, coming and
No,
playing a
and
house
there's-
party?
Yeah, there's scenes for 30-something.
Exactly. So, you know.
But I think I agree. But I also think there are some exceptions. Like if you're a well-known touring band.
Yeah, like I saw like
Yeah.
Cheap Girls, for example, was like a you know, I don't, maybe not well known, but like they were older and they were like well known enough from like their music scene that they pulled through a house party in New Brunswick,
That's
which
really
the cops
cool. You probably
did
make
come
their
to.
Yeah.
Those college students, like that probably makes their day.
It did,
to have,
yeah.
Like a well.
I mean,
Totally.
I was
in their
stoked
basement.
to go.
Yeah.
I didn't go to New Brunswick for school, but I drove all the way down there to see just that show because I was like, I want to see Cheap Girls.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess there's a couple exceptions, but those are like some of the best experiences of my life was playing college shows. But so getting back to you, Olivia, you moved to Brunswick, then you went to Brooklyn. And can you tell us about like how it is for you navigating prioritizing your craft while that not being the main thing that you do in your
Yeah.
life? Like you have a day job.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your day job and how you still make time for music and keep yourself organized at the same time?
A lot of lists. So my day job, I'm really grateful for. I work for a really small nonprofit, and it's a media watch group. So we advocate for greater diversity in the press and kind of reimagining the media system in the United States. And we are critics of corporate journalism and kind of corporate interests in journalism because we believe that information is a public good, and therefore like your loyalty should be to the communities you're serving and not the companies that are, you know, owning you, the 7 companies that own like almost all of the news outlets in the United States. So I'm passionate about that. And I do their fundraising. But, you know, the world is very, very bleak right now, and I need to have really strict boundaries being in like an activist-y kind of field. And so music is sort of my outlet and my way of making sense of like the apocalypse. Like a lot of my songs like lately have had those types of themes. And, you know, what's cool about my job is we're a collective, and I've been there for about 5 years, and I really love the people that I work with. There's only 4 of us. And we are really supportive of each other being full, holistic people outside of work, which is a privilege that a lot of people don't get in their jobs. I've had, you know, my coworkers come to my shows and ask me about my music. So it's cool to work in, you know, that kind of space because, you know, an activist type nonprofit job is not all that different from an artistic job. I think people are, you know, the Venn diagrams definitely overlap a lot. And so that's great. But I think, you know, just the sheer amount of time you spend at your job, commuting, and then prepping for your next day. I try to make sure that I actually eat like real dinners and pack myself real lunches. And by the time I sit down to have time for myself, it's like 9 p.m. And at that point, I say like, I need to a lot of times work on music, and I do that until I go to sleep. And that's why I'm a night owl, and that's why I like don't get enough sleep, and I'm always late to work. But I think you have to prioritize it, otherwise it's so easy not to. And there were times when I wasn't prioritizing music and I felt like I lost a bit of myself, and I don't know, it's so helpful for me to write specifically because it's my way of like kind of making sense of everything that's going on in the world and inside of my brain and in my life. And it's really therapeutic. And sometimes it allows me to kind of like alchemize really difficult feelings and things I'm almost ashamed of feeling into something that I'm proud of. And so that's like a tool that I need to prioritize using for myself. And so, yeah, it involves a lot of weeknights where I am staying up late, and even if it's just prioritizing like practicing or let me just like learn a cover song tonight, things like that. I think you have to force yourself. And like to go back to my dad and the example he gave me when I was growing up, like he also worked a 9 to 5. He wouldn't get home till 7, and he would like sit down and eat dinner with us, which was very nice of him. And then he would go upstairs and play until it was time to go to bed, and he would just do it all over again. And that was a thing he did for him, you know, like at that point he wasn't playing out too much, and he wasn't like you know, he didn't have anyone to answer to, but he knew that that was what he needed to do for himself. And I think that you can fit everything in. You just have to be very like regimented.
Yeah,
you just have to do it. Like I feel like art can feel like something that like just needs to be like a gift from the heavens, and one day it like strikes you like a lightning bolt, but it's actually not. Like you have to sit down and do the thing and try. And some days it's not coming and you sound bad and you can't write anything and you feel dumb, but you're creating those pathways in your brain and you're just like working. It'll snap back. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to prioritize it. It's tough though. I'm freaking tired all the time.
I definitely admire that about you a lot. That you commit, like you make a decision. That's like really when you start to. You know, when you're in college, you have tons of time in the world, and you can do things on whatever schedule. It's easy to be an artist, but then when you have real responsibilities and you're older, it's a decision that you're making, and it's a decision that you're making for yourself. And so I really admire that you do that and you commit to that. It's really cool.
Thank you. And it's on and off, you know, but I'm trying to be better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
And something tangible comes out of that, and you end up sharing a piece of yourself and your art. And I just want to ask what sort of lessons you've learned about being that vulnerable and sharing that publicly.
I learned that a lot of people relate to some things that you feel very alone about and even ashamed of. And I don't know. I think that is the most. I've had artists do that for me. But then when you hear from someone else that you've done that for them, you're like, me? Like this whole thing? Like made you feel heard? I had a friend recently text me about one of my songs and be like, can you send me the lyrics? Like they're really hitting for like a lot of people right now. And I was like, really? Like this like very like, you can sometimes think that writing like biographical songs is self-indulgent, but I think when you tell what's going on in your head, as trivial as it may be, like you can make someone feel heard. And I think that has encouraged me to be, like I said earlier, like I used to really want to write very cryptic lyrics. And I'm trying to challenge myself now I still enjoy the poetry of it, but to like just say the thing. And a lot of the artists that I really admire right now, like Boy Genius, all three of them, like Lucy, Julian, and Phoebe, all will just sometimes say things, and I'm like, ooh, like, like they could just be like, I hate you, and you broke my heart, and I'm like, damn, like that really hit. And so I'm trying to challenge myself to do that more.
Yeah, it's like what's that lyric? I hate you for what you did. But I miss you like a little kid. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But it's so real, and being that vulnerable is like a cool way to make a sacrifice that might help someone else in your art.
And it's honestly therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, go to therapy.
Yes. Important.
Actually do, but I think it has, honestly, there have been times where I felt really weird about something or ashamed about something, and I sat down and I wrote a song about it, and I was able to make sense of it in that way. So it's interesting as like a therapeutic tool too. I don't know if it violates HIPAA, but
Are there any themes or topics that come up in your writing a lot that you've noticed?
yeah, like I said before, there are songs I wrote when I was like 18 that the lyrics still feel real for me. And I think that in some ways, like I look at that and I'm like, oh damn, I haven't made any like progress on my personal like life since I was 18. But then on the other hand, it's like it's evolved and it's sort of like this like Sisyphusian like pushing your boulder up a hill task of like going through life. The same themes come back around, but you're at different points in your life. And I feel like I'm always on this like journey of trying to like understand myself and like make friends with myself. And I think that that has resonated differently at different points in my life, even though that's like a common theme. And so that's a thing. But I think now I'm kind of working on like thinking about how I relate to the world. And I really love like when folk music can like, well, folk music, the point of folk music is like to reflect the time that you're in. And I've never really done that. Like, I feel like I've always written so closed about myself, like, so like I'm just in my head. And I think like thinking about how I am in my head, but I'm also part of something bigger and making sense of the world and my place in it is kind of maybe like this next phase of my writing. And like, I do have songs that I'm just like, the world is ending and this is horrible, but like, I guess I'm still here. Like, I guess we're all still here.
Still going to work the next day.
Yeah, and that's something I've been grappling with too, is just like the status, like the challenge of having to keep doing what you're doing while things feel like they're falling down around you, and how am I supposed to like do regular things? And I think that that's something that I hope comes out in my writing. But like recently, songs that I'm working on, they do have like a lot of hope in them. And that's been a fun thing that, came out. Sometimes I write something and then it makes sense to me after. And
That's interesting.
yeah. So I work with like, themes of like darkness a lot of times, but I always try to wrap it up in a pretty bow of something that can like, you can take something away from it, or there's some kind of lesson or something hopeful about it. Even if the hopeful thing is just like, I felt something dark and I made something I'm proud of out of it.
Yeah.
That can be it.
It's like you're describing almost like a therapy exercise of like reframing while you're writing the song in some context, probably, right? Like you're almost like helping yourself reframe something tough within the context of your music.
For sure. And it's like it's such a helpful thing for me for that.
Yeah.
Does being a journalist reflect on your view of the world and how that comes out in your songwriting now that you're thinking about it as yourself as a part of this big world?
For sure. Well, I think being, in the journalism world, because I'm not really a journalist, I'm more of a media critic, so it's kind of like a meta. It's like I'm being a journalist about journalism a lot of times. And oh my God, can that rabbit hole go deep, like, and can you feel sometimes like everything's going wrong. There are people doing the right thing and speaking up, but then they're getting punished. And where does that leave me? And what am I supposed to do? And there's people who are hungry and who don't have homes. And I'm just like sitting at a desk being like, maybe I can write a thing about it. Like, and so like feeling helpless and wanting to, make some kind of a difference, but then also like feeling that human desire to just be comfortable and not like stick your head out too far. And what is the right thing to do in these certain situations. I think, being so aware of what's going on all the time is, I think it's a responsibility to have a basic knowledge of what's going on, but then at the same time, if it's consuming you, and that's something I've been working on now, is like, I want to consume the news. I don't want it to consume me.
Yeah.
Because I want to be useful, and I'm not going to be useful if I'm spiraling over any number of horrible things that we could make a whole other podcast about. But I think it's definitely something that, like I said, has come out in my work more recently because I've been more encouraged to think about more than just me when I'm writing, and do less of like a navel gaze and more of like okay, I'm one person, but what's going on around me? And that's like a challenge too, because I don't want it to sound like corny. Like I don't want it to be like, I don't know. Not trying to be like a voice for people. I can really only be a voice for myself, but
Yeah. So it seems like you are working toward finding balance in your life, especially given the political climate. What are some other outlets besides music that make you feel calm and grounded in your life?
I have recently started making jewelry out of shells.
Interesting.
Yeah, so as you can see, I'm demonstrating one of my pieces here.
Shells.
Oh, nice.
So my parents live at the Jersey Shore now full time, and especially in the winter, there's a lot of good shells.
Hmm.
And
What are some of your favorite shells, would you say?
well, I have a tattoo of a shell here.
She's got a shell necklace tattoo.
I like these scallop shells. I think they're very beautiful. They're kind of like a symbol of like, like Venus on the half shell, like she's on a scallop shell.
Yeah.
Love that imagery.
Very cool.
So I like to make jewelry out of shells. It's a thing I'm learning. I'm not good at it. I'm not trying to sell them. Not trying to sell seashells by the seashore.
Just in case you wanted to know, it's not going to be out there.
But I think that in all seriousness, though, having a hobby that is not like for other people's consumption, because music is for other people's consumption.
Yeah.
Journalism is for other people's consumption. But I think like having a hobby that is just like, one day I was like, I want a shell necklace. And then I was like, I wonder if I could make one. And I can, like, I wouldn't like sell them because they kind of fall apart sometimes. I'm still learning how to like get the clasps tight and everything. But if anyone wants a shell necklace, like I'll make you one for free.
Yeah, shells are good.
Wow.
For free for now until I get good at it. But I don't know. I don't really feel the need to monetize it.
No, it's just for you.
It's just for me.
Shells for her.
And whoever
Yeah.
shells for her.
If you ever do sell them, you can
Shells
use
for
it
her. That's spicy.
Olivia, guess what?
What?
We're at the point in the podcast that is called the lightning round.
Okay.
Are you intrigued by this?
I'm intrigued. I'm scared.
Okay, don't be. You're going to do great.
I
Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to put a timer on. Kyle's going to read you questions. You have to answer as many questions as you can within the time that you're given. Are you clear on the instructions?
I'm clear on the instructions.
Okay, the questions are going to be weird. We haven't read through them. I don't know what they are.
Okay.
don't
You're
know what
out
they
there
are.
alone.
I'm out there alone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good luck. Ready? 3, 2,
I'm really scared.
1.
You wake up as a pigeon in Brooklyn. Would you rather fight a rat or a raccoon for a slice of pizza?
I think I could fight a rat. I don't think I could fight a raccoon.
Would you rather have spaghetti for hair or alien-shaped eyes?
Alien-shaped eyes.
Second.
I would love alien-shaped
Confident
eyes.
about that one.
If your music was a specific thrift store find, what would it be?
It would be like shell earrings.
How many black t-shirts do you currently own?
Like 3.
A week in a silent monastery or a week in a 24-hour Times Square Dave & Buster's?
A silent monastery.
If you had a pet goat in a Brooklyn backyard, what would you name it?
Nikki Miracoli.
Thanks.
Do you feel perceived right now?
Yes.
What is the first song you'd play for an alien to prove humans are okay?
Closer to Find by the Indigo Girls.
Wow, that was so fast. What is your get the whole room singing karaoke song?
The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Black Parade, I believe is the official title.
When you're editing, are you using a red pen on paper or deleting lines on a laptop?
I'm leaving bitchy ass comments on Google Doc.
The sound check or the after party?
After party.
Voice memos on the G train or a $500 microphone in a booth?
$500 microphone in a booth. I don't want to listen to. I don't want people listening to me on the G train.
Fair enough.
Nice. If your life was a headline in the Ithacan, what would it say?
Girl has feelings.
All right, you have 10 seconds. 10.
Pick one celebrity
9.
to accompany you during a 4-hour delay at Penn Station.
Dolly
4.
Parton. Everyone loves Dolly Parton.
That's a great one.
2, 1. You did great. Good job.
Woo! Yay!
Olivia did so good. She's
Did so
great
good.
at lightning round questions. Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the lightning round. Before we go, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Sure. Follow me on Instagram at Olive_Riggio. And check me out on your streaming platforms, Olive Riggio. I would love if you did that. I'm working on recording right now, so if you listen to my music now, it will encourage me to make more of it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Bands and Beers. If you like this episode, please subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Bands and Beers NJ. All right. See you later.
See you next time.